Best Books of 2022 and welcome to Janice Parriot's Everything the Light Touches, with narrative strands that include a young woman in today's Meghalaya, an English woman on a quest in India a century ago, and Johann Wolfgang von Goethe traveling in Italy under an alias, amplify the message that we open the vastness in our minds by teasing out the mysteries of the natural world and its recuperative power. Shehan Karen Atalaka's The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida actually gives over the narration to a spirit and asks us to keep our ears open to the insistent life struggles of the dead and the oppressed, in this case in Sri Lanka's civil war. Banana Yoshimoto's short stories collected in Dead End Memories, translated from the Japanese by Asa Yanida, recall her early career wisdom of kitchen, and remind us to read our environs and our dreams, and to heed the spirits of those who were here once. How China Sees India and the World by Shyam Saran argues that a narrative is being built on the inevitability of Chinese regional, and eventually global, dominance, which it would be futile to resist. Saran brings his experience as diplomat to weigh in on India-China relations, and points out that when India's GDP growth began to decelerate, and China maintained the same rate of growth as India, but on a much larger base, the asymmetry of power began to reflect on ties. The implication is that India should defer to Chinese interests. In The Song of the Cell, Siddhartha Mukherjee profiles the cell, the building block of life. All organisms, including humans, are made of these elementary particles, and these autonomous living units, tissues, organs systems that enable a body to perform a variety of functions from immunity, reproduction, repair to rejuvenation. Dr. Mukherjee, whose book The Emperor of All Maladies won the Pulitzer Prize, also narrates what happens when cells become dysfunctional, and how that precipitates the malfunctioning of the body. Lords of the Deccan by Anirudh Kanisetti is a journey to the medieval world of the Deccan, when the Chalukyas, the Pallavas, the Cholas, the Rashtrakutas, and others ruled, reviving the history of a period that has been long forgotten. The book begins around 618 CE, when the Chalukyas, who established a mighty citadel in the sandstone cliffs of Vitapi in northern Karnataka, exploded onto the historical stage by defeating the dominant ruler of North India. According to Kanisetti, this set the stage for a half-millennium of Deccan dominance. Lucy by the Sea by Elizabeth Strout highlights the essential requirement of empathy in navigating our way through our personal lives, and amidst the cultural wars that are driving wedges among communities everywhere. In 2022, one of Strout's Lucy Barton novels, O. William, was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, and Lucy by the Sea takes us past the pandemic. Lucy flees the city and quarantines with her ex-husband William in Maine, as COVID-19 spreads in early 2020. She worries about her daughters, deepens her backstory further, as she has been doing in Strout's previous books, and takes her life outdoors as she forges new friendships, keeping in mind COVID precautions and social ruptures in the age of Donald Trump. The Lost Diary of Castor, My Bar depicts unfathomable personal sacrifice during the freedom struggle. Kasturba and Mohandas Gandhi's great-grandson, Tusha Gandhi, say the diary was found in a trunk at the Kasturba Ashram in India. The diary spans 9 months, between January and September 1933, but in it she talks about prison sentences, her worries about Gandhi's health, and her unwavering commitment to freedom and justice. The Palace Papers by Tina Brown takes readers on a journey through the British monarchy with its scandals, love affairs, power plays, and betrayals. As a documentary, Harry and Meghan plays out on Netflix, and with Prince Charles anointed king after Queen Elizabeth's passing, it's as good a time as any to dip into this saga of a royal mess. Among other things, Brown explores the tension between William and Harry on different paths, and Harry and Meghan's decision to step back as senior royals. Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shree, translated from Hindi by Daisy Rockwell, is one of the most thought-provoking and riveting novels. Shree's sprawling chronicle of a year in an 80-something woman's life, beginning with her turning away from the work in a cold Delhi winter and ending with her escapades across the border in Pakistan. Shree marshals her cast of narrators to paint a picture of Ma's interior life and to speak on everything else in our world, challenging us to question every border and fault line imposed by history, society, and politics. She reminds us that being true to ourselves is an intensely political project.